today we are going to be looking at something really important. So what we are looking at is programming your mind for success. We are getting into the real juice of the this whole training process. Till now, whatever we had looked at was all more preparatory. Now it is more into much more detail. So we'll be getting into more and more detail in the weeks to come. So as you are aware, it is a part of the Power of Personal Achievement training program of over 3 days by Brian Tracy. So why should we program our mind for success? We have seen this in the past in multiple sessions. The mindset that we hold is what is going to make or break it. In terms of our success, that if you are really looking at success, then without changing our mindset, it is not possible to get there. Remember, what got you here will not get you there. Okay. So if it is success that we are looking at, and success is like, it's like you could look at it like a steep curve, right? So to hit that pinnacle, we have to look at reprogramming ourselves. That means, see, it's like a computer, no? Our brain is also like a computer. There is an existing program. We have to either change parts of the program or delete this program and add a new program, right? So that's what we are trying to do in all the sessions. That's what we are trying to do. We are in the process of trying to reprogram ourselves. So how do we go about reprogramming our mind for success? So we will rewind a bit and look at, there is something we looked at called our self-concept. So what is our self-concept? It is our bundle of beliefs. It is how you see yourself, what you think about yourself, what you believe about yourself. Right now, as of today, how you see, think, and believe about yourself is your self-concept, your concept about yourself, right? And this self-concept, please remember, determines everything about what happens to us. We kind of, most of the time, most of us are oblivious about this. The extent to which, how it's like what we call self-limiting beliefs. We ourselves believe that we are not capable, and we keep wondering why success is not happening, right? Or we are not able to achieve things. So everything that we see, think, and believe about ourselves determines everything about what happens to us. So I want to share a very, very nice story about this person named Viktor Serebryakov. He's, born to Russian, like a Russian father. Viktor Serebryakov. He passed away in 2000 from 1912 onwards. He was a child of immigrant. Actually, his mother, I think, was probably British, but father was Russian, and from UK they moved to US. He was the child of immigrants, and he just floated through school, not particularly performing very well. Almost all the time, he will be just daydreaming or looking out of the window. So that's the way his entire childhood in school happened. And the teachers, they just concluded, oh, he's mentally challenged, okay, or that he has got learning deficiencies. So and they decided that he is unlikely to be very successful in life. Okay, so what they thought is that, look, because of all these things, it may be a good idea for you to just join the army and do some menial job in the army, some smaller level kind of thing, and then you get a pension, work for a certain period of time, get a pension, and retire to a comfortable life. This is what the teachers recommended for him. But he did not think too much of this, and he chose not to get not drifted, not to get he just drifted around. He did not get drafted. So what he did was, he became a farm laborer for 2 years. He became a farm laborer. He was a janitor. He did this kind of jobs for 2 years. And then sometime he saw a signboard saying the army needs men. So he thought, wow, army needs men. Let me go and check it out. And he remembered, like, a teachers had told him, no, that you should try and enlist, and probably you'll get a better life there, and your future can be better. So he applied to enlist. So when they saw his background, his academic scores, and his labor job and all that, they said that, oh, this guy is not army material. Okay. So they said they were not very impressed with this entire thing. But as a part of their process, they put him through a series of psychology tests. And they were shocked to discover that his IQ showed 172 as the reading. Now, this is the kind of range, okay, for those of us who are not too familiar with IQ levels, 130 and above is considered very superior. Okay, an average level is 90 to 110. But 130 and above is very superior and it showed 172. So then they seriously thought that there is something wrong with this test. And because obviously his marks and his job and what he did did not match at all with this. So they repeated the test. This time it came 176. So then they thought there is something about this. They figured that, oh my God, this is higher than even Einstein's IQ. Okay. So they said there must be something about this person. So what they said is, the psychologists, basically they figured that he has got a photographic memory. Okay. And he had instantly learned everything that was taught in school, but he was so completely bored with the content that he was just, looking out of the window and just there, he just got by because he just was not excited by whatever was there. So what they offered him is this. They said that if you join the army and if you continue, we will put you through university. But after the university, you have to give us a minimum of 4 years after graduation to work, contribute to the army. So, and they said you do a course in nuclear physics. This is what they told him to do, right? So he decided yes, and then he had to repeat his high school because his grades were so poor, right? So it's 2-year high school, he finished it in 1 year, and then the 4-year university course, he finished it in 18 months, okay? And then he completed his PhD by the age of 25 and a half, he was finished with his PhD. And thereafter, he, developed some technologies for the army, some of which the army kept, some of them they said that we don't want it. And thereafter, he went on to start his company after his time in the army. And he had 6 major patents. And by 35, he was a multi-millionaire. By the way, some of you who may have heard about the Mensa system of mind control, okay? He is the one who owned that company. He initially took that test and he joined it and all that. Thereafter, he took over that whole company. Okay, the Mensa system of mind control. So that is Viktor Serebryakov for you. Now, the point, what we have to realize is this. He did not know of his capability. So because he did not know of his capability, he just said, okay, I do a labor job. He was just drifting around. Okay. And that was because his parents, his teachers, their programming, they programmed him there according to their outlook. They believed that he is no good. Okay. So therefore, he also believed he is no good. But when the army showed him how smart he was, he just changed his mental programming and he went on to do something completely different. Simply because the capability was there, but he never knew it existed. So he became a genius thereafter. In the same way, we can change our results by changing our mental programming about ourselves. This is very much possible for each one of us. The point is, we have to first recognize that, we are right now mentally conditioned to believe that we can only achieve this much or we are not capable. The moment we decide to shift it, we are capable of achieving something far, far beyond what we think we can achieve. So, the change in self-concept, where does it begin? Okay, we are right now having a self-concept that, okay, this is how I am, this is what we believe about ourselves, we see about ourselves, we think about ourselves. How does it change? The change begins when you decide to take in new information, okay? And when you do that, you start to see yourself and believe in yourself in a completely different way. Exactly the same way as, Viktor Serebryakov. The way until the army told him that, look, Arey, you're a genius. The moment they said it, he looked at himself differently and things changed, right? So the same way, if you decide to start taking in new information, you can start to see yourself and believe in yourself in a completely different way. And the change comes with a change in your belief system, that you are basically changing your own belief system. Let's suppose that there was a test to detect a millionaire gene in each of us. Okay, suppose it was there. And you took the test, and suppose the test came positive for you. And the doctor says that, Arey, you will say that, look, Arey, what? I'm just an ordinary person and this is what I'm doing. But he says, no, you have that millionaire gene in you. If you do the right things, you can make it. Okay, suppose it was like that. And all you have to do is to find a place or a platform to express it, right? If you really believed it, would you or would you not do the things differently from now on? Just think over this. Suppose somebody said there is a millionaire gene in you. Okay. So what I'm trying to say is that if we truly believed, choose to believe that we can do something far, far, far differently or better than what we are doing, it can become a reality. So the psychology of becoming, there is something called the psychology of becoming. All of us are in a continuous state of growth and change. Whether we like it, don't like it, this is happening. We are in a state of continuous growth and change. So this is us. And there is various changes happening, changes. It's going on and on, right? As we move forward in our life, we are growing and changing. Now, this growing and changing, whether it happens and how much it happens, completely depends on the information that we take in. In other words, if you always do what you've always done, you will always get what you've always got. Just clearly understand this. If you always do what you've always done, you will always get what you've always got. Or like we started this presentation today, what got you here will not get you there. Okay, if we are clear about this, then we have to, what shall I say, it has to become our agenda that we want to change ourselves. Okay. So, like he said it, if you've always done what you've always done, if you do what you've always done, you will always get what you've always got, right? So, right now, till now, whatever inputs you have taken, same thing will keep happening. Same inputs from TV and social media we will take. We will talk to the same friends. Okay. Nothing will change in our life. And unfortunately, for almost everybody around the globe, this is the great tragedy that they are just stuck over here, that they just keep doing the same things and expect that some new result will come. It cannot happen, right? Now, if we choose to take in new information and new ideas, like what we are doing now, okay, if you intensely do it, if you start reading new things, okay, if you talk to new people, right, you will start to evolve and grow. And in a completely different way, you will start to evolve and grow. And not just in a different way, you will start growing at a different speed. This is what can happen and will happen. The catch is the natural tendency is not to do this. Okay. Our natural tendency is to stay in the comfort zone. We just want to be where we are. This is our natural tendency. So therefore, what is the way out? Make your goals clear. We've always said this repeatedly earlier. I'm again saying it now. Make your goals clear. Describe them in detail. And third and most important, you have to dwell on them most of the time. Okay. If you are not investing in that, we will come to that. Right? So what happens is that as soon as you're clear about that you want a specific goal, you will start getting all kinds of new ideas. I mean, it's very dramatic. See, we just recently decided to buy a new car, okay, and we decided on a particular model of Maruti. Suddenly, I'm finding that whenever I'm driving on the road, I'm starting to see these cars all over the place. I'm not seeing any other car, but this car I'm seeing all over. Okay, so this is, I was so taken aback that wow, this is really happening. Okay, so remember that as soon as you get clear about your specific goal, you start getting all kinds of new ideas. You start to think of all kinds of new possibilities. Okay, and you also start meeting new people. And you start to see new things even in newspaper, social media, everywhere. Suddenly you'll start noticing things which earlier you may never have noticed. Okay, I'm going to give you two powerful examples in this context. So a serial entrepreneur in USA, okay, he was just browsing through the Wall Street Journal newspaper and he just happened to see a filler piece. It is just a 2-inch high piece. Okay, he saw this piece. That small piece said that import of Italian racing cycles has increased by 37% in the last 12 months. Okay, he just saw the small piece and he said he wondered that, this is quite a steep increase. Okay, in 12 months' time. So he said, why is there such an increase? And he did his research. When he did his math, what he discovered is that actually the import had increased from 1000 to 1370. So that is 37% increase. Okay. But the market for the bicycles is 25 million. That is the market. Okay. So he realized that there is an opportunity here. Okay. And he just grabbed this opportunity. And in a few years' time, what he did was he immediately got in tie up with the Italian cycle manufacturers. He started importing cycles and he started creating spaces where he bought out half a bicycle shop space and said, you just keep these cycles. And in some years, he was selling 32 stores selling Italian racing cycles. And he was importing Italian racing cycles by the shipload. Okay. And he made 15 to 20 million dollars before he sold this business. What happened? The point is that he was looking for an opportunity. See, you can say that he saw that newspaper piece and therefore it happened. But his mind was tuned to looking for such things. And that is why he noticed it. Right? So this is the important point that we have to realize, that the moment you set yourself on a goal and you say that, yes, this is what I want, where I want to get. This is the goal that I want. If you're clear about it, suddenly you will start noticing things which you never noticed before. You will start doing things differently. You'll start noticing all kinds of things will start happening. Another example. Another entrepreneur named Peter Thomas from Canada, Vancouver, Canada. He was sitting on a Hawaii beach reading a paper, and there was a news article about a franchise that has started for real estate offices. Okay, where in California, and it was called 31st Century 21. And basically, what they were doing is they were combining a whole set of local real estate companies and putting a brand name to it and giving it national exposure. So, you just a group of companies get, somebody bunches the companies together, makes it under one brand name and across the country. So they were looking it only for USA. What this guy did is he saw that, and from Hawaii, he straight away flew to California and he asked them that I want a pan Canada franchising rights for this model. Okay. They said, what? Where is Canada? What are you talking about? So they said, look, that huge mass of that country up above USA, that's the place I'm talking about. Oh, is that it? Okay, you want to take it, you just take it. They had not even remotely considered this possibility. So they gave it to him they said, okay, you pay $10,000. So he said, okay, I'll give you $5,000 now, another $5,000 1 year later. Right? He set up Century 21 in Canada, and there are now 500 offices in Canada. Okay. And he became a multimillionaire. The point again is that he was looking for an opportunity. So that's the point, that when our mindset gets aligned for a certain thing, you will start noticing this in our own thing. See, what we started doing in our case in Indus Viva's context, what happened is, the moment we got familiar and we got exposed to this whole range of formulations, suddenly we started noticing people who are sick all around us. Suddenly we are noticing that, Array, he has got this problem, she has got this problem, which earlier we never would have noticed. Okay, so I'm saying that this naturally happens. So just get aligned, tune yourself, set a powerful goal and make things happen for yourself. Right. So as we said, if you want to evolve and grow rapidly, make your goals clear, describe them in detail, and dwell on them most of the time. You cannot visit your goals once a month and expect to succeed. Please be clear about this. It has to be that you're visiting your goals every day. That's why we said, no, that write down your goals in detail and just browse through it. We said, create a vision board. In our morning audio clips that I'm sharing with you, we have spoken about what is called a vision board. Probably sometime I will do a session on making a vision board. But the point is that you create visual images, you create data or numbers, you add dates to it. Okay, the subconscious mind understands this, and you're continuously feeding the subconscious mind with this data, right? So remember that You have to dwell on your goals most of the time. If you are just visiting it once in a while, no, it really means there is no real commitment. Okay. There's a nice joke that Brian Tracy said right at this point when this commitment thing came. So there is a chicken and a pig who are talking to each other, and they are saying, the chicken says that, look, tomorrow is our farmer Brown's, that is, they were which farm they are, Farmer Brown's birthday. So I'm thinking of giving him a gift. So the chicken says, I will donate an egg, you donate the ham. Okay. So the pig says that, look, for you, giving an egg is a donation, but for me, it's a really big commitment. so, so that's the way it is. Are we really committed? Now, there are two obstacles that come in the way of everything. Everything that you're capable of doing, there are two obstacles that come in the way. One is what they call homeostasis. Okay. This homeostasis is also a word that's used in biology or in ecology. They use this word homeostasis. Probably it is from that ecological or genetically we are programmed. Maybe that's why we are like this. We like to maintain our status quo. Okay. Right now, whichever way it is, we like to minimum disturbance. We just like to continue like that. We are locked into the way we did things in the past. Whatever way we did it in the past, we are locked into that. And we just want to stay there. This is homeostasis. Okay. So the moment there is something new that comes up, if you have to do something new, it is very uncomfortable for us. All of you would have experienced it definitely in the context of Indus Viva, because now it is a completely new set of things we are doing. Like when we are saying, go and invite people, go and talk to them about the product, right? Most of us in our life, we may never have done sales and marketing. So you're wondering, oh my God, like this is so uncomfortable. Like some of you, I know you are so uncomfortable following up, right? So we are anything new, we are uncomfortable. So there is a tendency towards homeostasis, and that is something that we have to overcome. And this is a part of our comfort zone. That our comfort zone is homeostasis. Jaise the, jaisa hai, we want to continue like that. Unless we are willing to break out of it, we cannot get further. So you know that somebody is in homeostasis when you hear this. You tell them something new, okay, something interesting, something new. You suggest it, and they will say yes, but they will have something. Whenever you hear a yes, but, or if you yourself are doing it, look at yourself. This is not about somebody else. This is more about ourselves, right? So look at wherever you're saying yes, but that means there is a tendency towards homeostasis, right? Can we get over that? Is an important thought for us. The next is what he calls psychosclerosis. So sclerosis is basically hardening. A cardiosclerosis is like a hardening of the arteries. What is the atherosclerosis? Is hardening of the arteries, right? Similarly, psychosclerosis, hardening of our mind. That is hardening of our attitudes, right? That we have kind of taken it for granted that once we become older, our mental attitudes are very set, and it's very difficult to change and all that, right? Children are more pliable. It need not be so. So we get fixed in our way we think, right? Our attitude is all getting fixed, and this is caused. One reason it can be caused by is low self-esteem. Okay, that right now it is at a certain level, and you're just trying to get by without getting into too much trouble. Second is fear. So when you want to avoid a fearful situation, you just get stuck with whatever is comfortable. You're just fixed in your attitudes. So somebody said the difference between a rut and a grave is death. That's the only difference, right? You're just stuck in a rut. The same thing again and again you're doing, and you feel you're leading a good life. The difference between a rut and a grave is death. Okay, so basically, homeostasis is trying to maintain a status quo, and psychosclerosis is fixed, just fixed in the way we think. Effectively, you are stuck in your comfort zone. This is what it means. When there is homeostasis and the psychosclerosis, we are basically getting stuck in the comfort zone. So, how do you get out of your comfort zone? The way to get out of a comfort zone is to set big, exciting goals. Setting big, exciting goals is the way that you can get out of your comfort zone. We'll look at that. So there is this person, Warren Bennis, who incidentally is a pioneer in the contemporary field of leadership studies. Okay, so he has done an extensive study in 1990s. He studied 93 leaders from completely different industries, and they studied them for 5 years. Okay, and there were many findings of his. One of the findings is that they refuse to get stuck in a comfort zone. All people who are leaders are consciously choosing to go beyond their comfort zone. Remember this, right? So if they got stuck in a comfort zone, they use a proverbial grappling hook. You know what's a grappling hook? No, in mountaineering, they just throw it up and then it will go and get stuck somewhere, and then you pull yourself up with it, right? So that grappling hook that they use when they get stuck in their comfort zone is a big goal. They set a big goal to get themselves out of the comfort zone. Okay. So there is a newer word they have for it. It is BHOG, which is big, heavy, audacious goal. Okay. So set a big, heavy, audacious goal and get yourself out of the comfort zone. The thing is that you cannot stay at your current level of performance and set a big goal for yourself. Both cannot concurrently happen. So the moment you set a big goal for yourself and you're serious about it, that means you have done it in detail and you're revisiting it and thinking about it all the time, then you cannot stay at your current level of performance. Automatically, your nature will push you to go out of that zone into the, work towards that big goal. Now, remember, there are two great powers that control everything that happens in our life. One is the power of love, okay, and second is the power of suggestion. Both are extremely powerful and they rule our life in many ways. So, this power of love, everything that we do in our life is either to get love or to compensate for a lack of love. Okay, we have looked at it in the past when we were looking at our self-esteem and all that, where right from childhood, these are things that happen, where, there have been situations as carrot and stick thing that the parents did in their whatever ignorance. They kind of just kept telling you, if you do this, I will give you this. Or if you don't do this, I will not give you this. So, and then child's nature is to seek seek that love, seek that attention. They want to feel complete through their parents, and the parents are trying to withhold and control the child. So right from childhood, we are seeking it, and when that problem happens, then we end up with all the today's problems. In adult life, we are striving to compensate what was not available in childhood. What was not available, you're trying to compensate today, right? So this is one thing that remember that this is actually controlling our life in a very powerful way. The second thing is the power of suggestion. Just watch this carefully. The power of this, okay, how powerfully it's influencing us. We may not really understand the power of this. We are constantly influenced by every suggestion that is happening in our world. Every suggestion. And where all is it coming from? And remember that everything counts. What? Every word that is said, every conversation that happens, every story that we read, every song that we hear, every news that you watch or read, whatever books you read, what you watch, just about everything is continuously influencing us. We may not be conscious about it, but the fact is it is influencing us. Now, we may not be able to accept this easily. The point is that depending on what the content is, it is either helping us or it's hurting us. One of the two is continuously happening, and we have to be aware, conscious of this, right? Which is why we keep telling that you shift your focus to what is positive. Stop watching all this negative news. Shift to things that is positive. Shift to things positive. Why? Because this influence is continuously going on. The power of suggestion. But let's look at it. If we don't really believe it. See, suppose I tell you that there is a great research that has been done, latest research, that says that if you really eat healthy food, real healthy food, if you eat, then your digestion, your skin, your digestion will improve, your skin will become fantastic, your energy, you'll feel much more energetic, you will sleep much better, right? All these things, and you will not have diseases. So many things will happen if I tell you this, right? And I ask you, did you know that there's a new research which has happened? What will you say? You will say, of course I know all that. What? I know it for the last 20 years. Of course, I know this. What's new in this? It's another fact that I don't do it because our tongue. For this 2-inch tongue, we are ruining everything else about our body. You know it, and you'll say this is not something new. What new research is this, right? We clearly know this, that if we put something in our body, that is, we consume something, it is going to impact us in multiple levels. We are very clearly aware of it. Do you or do you not think that the same food that we or a food that we give to our mind can also impact us the same way? Do you or do you not think this is possible? I want you to think over this. See, we see that for the body we are doing all this. We'll take at least some care that we take. You're eating nutritious food and all that. For the mind, what are you doing? What food are you giving your mind? So therefore, I'm again coming back to the power of suggestion. Everything that we take into our mind is affecting our personality, is affecting our temperament, it is affecting our self-confidence. Okay, it is affecting our goals. Just think, if right now we have not set lofty goals, or we are not getting to our goals, it is because there is so much of suggestion around us, is keeping us mediocre. Which is why they say that change the company that you keep, because that changing that company will make a difference, right? It will changes our clarity. All this and much more, our intelligence, every bit is getting impacted in a significant way because of the power of suggestion. So everything we take into our physical body affects us physically, and similarly, everything we take into our mind is affecting us mentally also. Therefore, please make it a point, and it's not just affecting us mentally. All the result we are getting in our life is getting affected by this, which we do not realize, unfortunately. So we are going to be continuing again on. There is much more to programming our mind for success. So we are actually looking at how to program it, and just get conscious. And see, the most simple thing that we can do is make a conscious shift in the kind of exposure that you're giving yourself. Just stop giving negative exposure. Just stop watching all the negative news. Okay, you can just keep yourself informed to the extent that is required. But so much of this COVID related news and what is terrible thing is happening and so many people dying and this and that, we don't need this input. We already know that things are not good. Why not look at what wonderful things are happening around us, right? So start giving yourself positive inputs, good inputs, healthy inputs, things that will empower you. Don't give yourself inputs that will disempower you. So that's the session for today. I hope you found it interesting and inspiring and useful. Please make it happen for yourself. We will be continuing again the next week. There is much more to come.